Imagine you get into a serious crash. Same accident. In Canada, one system kicks in. In the US, it's completely different and your bill could be 2-3x higher. So which country's car insurance actually protects you better? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a no BS comparison, Canada versus USA car insurance. We'll cover how the systems are set up in each country, what's mandatory and what's optional, average prices in both countries, the real-world pros and cons for drivers, and at the end, some tips to avoid overpaying wherever you live. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just breaking down public data and expert sources. Always check details with a licensed broker in your own province or state. Imagine you get into a serious crash. Same accident. In Canada, one system kicks in. In the US, it's completely different, and your bill could be 2-3x higher. So which country's car insurance actually protects you better? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a no BS comparison, Canada versus USA car insurance. We'll cover how the systems are set up in each country, what's mandatory and what's optional, average prices in both countries, the real-world pros and cons for drivers, and at the end, some tips to avoid overpaying wherever you live. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just breaking down public data and expert sources. Always check details with a licensed broker in your own province or state. In the US, insurance rules are set state by state. Almost every state requires car insurance, typically at least liability coverage for injuries and property damage you cause. NerdWallet, there are a few quirks. New Hampshire doesn't require standard auto insurance if you can prove you can pay for damages yourself. Auto insurance. Some states are no-fault states, like New York, Florida, Michigan, where your own insurance pays for your injuries up to a limit, regardless of who caused the crash. MATIC insurance. So, Canada equals nationally mandatory, heavily regulated per province with some public insurers. USA equals almost all states require insurance, but coverage levels and rules vary a lot. Both countries use similar building blocks. Third-party liability covers injuries or damage you cause to others. Collision, damage to your car in a crash. Comprehensive non-crash damage, theft, fire, hail, vandalism, falling trees, etc. Canada key Canadian twist. Accident benefits in Canada. Most provinces include accident benefits in mandatory coverage. This pays for things like medical and rehab costs, income replacement if you can't work, some death and funeral benefits even if the accident was your fault. Rates. Because Canada has a public healthcare system, some medical costs are handled by the government, but accident benefits still matter a lot for rehab, long-term care, and lost wages. PMC US twist. Healthcare and lawsuits in the US. Healthcare is mostly private and very expensive. A single serious trauma can run into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ross University School of Medicine +1 to handle that. States use things like bodily injury liability, personal injury protection, PIP, or medical payments, uninsured/underinsured motorist coverage. MATIC insurance. That's why minimum limits in many states, e.g. $25,000/$50,000/$25,000, are often considered too low for a serious crash. Yahoo Finance. So in the US, if you buy only the bare minimum, your out-of-pocket risk is often much higher than in Canada. Average cost in Canada. Recent Canadian data shows the average annual car insurance premium in Canada is around $1,000 per year, depending on the province and coverage. Belairdirect, GA QC. Example, Ontario drivers average around $1,900 per year, often in the $1,500 to $500 range. Think Insure provinces like Quebec tend to be much cheaper, around $1,000 total per year for property damage cover. GA QC. Prices vary based on province. BC and Ontario are among the most expensive. Canada drives. City versus rural driving record, age, vehicle type, coverage limits and deductibles. Average cost in the USA. In the US, prices are generally higher. Recent US data shows full coverage averaging somewhere between about $2,150 and $2,900 per year, depending on the study. Experian Forbes A Washington Post analysis found huge differences by state. About $902 per year for full coverage in Vermont, up to $2,912 per year in Florida and New York, averaging over $4,000 for full coverage. The Washington Post. On top of that, U.S. premiums have risen nearly 50% over the last 5 years in some data sets. The Washington Post simple takeaway on price on average. U.S. drivers pay more for full coverage insurance than Canadian drivers. But within each country, there's huge variation by region. A driver in rural Manitoba might pay less than a driver in downtown Toronto, just like someone in Vermont pays far less than someone in Miami or NYC. White heavy checkmark 5. Benefits and pros of car insurance in Canada from a driver's point of view. Here are some of the main benefits in Canada. 1. Strong baseline protection, mandatory accident benefits, plus public health care makes it harder to be completely ruined by medical bills after a crash. Rates. CA Canada 2. Heavy regulation, provincial regulators control which rating factors insurers can use and must approve rate changes. Co-operators, this can protect consumers from extreme pricing spikes and unfair discrimination, at least in theory. 3. Public insurance in some provinces. In provinces with public insurers, like BC or Manitoba, everyone is in the same basic system, which can simplify shopping and ensure universal access. Co-operators. 4. Lower average premiums versus U.S. national averages are generally lower than U.S. full coverage averages, especially when you factor in the healthcare differences. Crossmark 6. Downsides of car insurance in Canada, but it's not perfect. Some cons. 1. Very high in certain provinces. BC and Ontario drivers often face some of the highest auto premiums in the country, sometimes well over $2,000 per year. Canada drives. CA plus 2 think insure plus 2. Less flexibility in public systems. With public auto insurance, you don't really get to shop around for the basic part of your policy. The government is essentially your only option for that portion. Co-operators. 3. Rising premiums. A Canadian Outlook report shows auto insurance premiums have been climbing 6% year over year, driven by higher repair costs, more expensive vehicles, and inflation. Rates. CA 1. Huge choice and competition, dozens of insurers, lots of online quote tools, tons of discounts. If you're a safe driver with good credit, you can often get very competitive rates compared to your neighbors. NerdWallet plus 2, Progressive plus 2. Flexible coverage design you can customize. High liability limits, umbrella policies, add-ons like gap insurance, roadside, rental, etc. 3. Opportunity to save by shopping around because rates are so competitive and vary widely. U.S. drivers who actively shop can save a lot when premiums go up. Kiplinger Crossmark 8. Downsides of car insurance in the USA. 1. Higher average costs. As we saw, full coverage in the U.S. averages over $2,000 per year, and in some states it can be $3,000 plus. Experian Forbes 2. Healthcare costs drive up risk because healthcare is so expensive. Bodily injury and PIP coverage has to cover larger bills, which pushes premiums up. Ross University School of Medicine 3. Low minimum limits. Many states have very low mandatory limits, like $25,000 per person, which is nowhere near enough for a serious crash. Yahoo Finance. If you don't upgrade your coverage, you're carrying a lot of financial risk. 4. Wide inequality. A safe driver in a cheap state pays far less than a similar driver in a high-risk state like Florida or New York, and there's not much you can do about the state-level risk. The Washington Post. Brain 9. So which is better? Honest conclusion. If we ask, where would I rather get into an accident? Purely from an insurance plus healthcare perspective, many people would say Canada. Strong baseline protections, universal healthcare, moderately lower average premiums. But if we ask, where can I optimize my insurance the most if I play the game well? Probably the USA, because more competition, more ways to customize coverage, more discounts and shopping strategies. Simple summary for viewers: Canada tends to be better at protecting the average driver from catastrophic costs, especially medical. The USA gives more flexibility and options, but you pay more on average, and if you underinsure yourself, you can be in serious financial trouble. Direct hit 10. How viewers can use this call to action. Here's how you can turn this into action wherever you live. Check your liability limits. If you're at bare minimum, talk to your broker or agent about increasing it. Medical and legal costs are rising in both countries. Compare quotes every 1-2 years. Both Canadian and U.S. markets have seen significant premium increases due to inflation, repair costs, and more expensive vehicles. Kiplinger rates. CA statistics. Canada. Don't underestimate accident benefits, PIP. Rehab, time off work, and long-term injuries often cost more than the car itself. So if you had to choose, would you rather insure your car in Canada or in the U.S.? Let me know in the comments. Where are you watching from, province or state? How much are you paying per year for car insurance? And do you feel it's worth it for the coverage you get? If you found this breakdown helpful, hit the like button so more people can see it, and subscribe for more real-world money and insurance comparisons. Thanks for watching and drive safe. Automobile Dashing. Book sources you can mention in your description. You can put something like this in your YouTube description. Government of Canada, Car Insurance, Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, Oct. 2025. Canada, Insurance Bureau of Canada, Mandatory Auto Insurance Requirements by Province. IBC, GAA/Quebec Data, Average Premiums for Passenger Vehicles, 2024. GAQC, Experian, Average Cost of Car Insurance in the U.S., 2025. Experian, Forbes Advisor, Average Cost of Car Insurance, 2025. Forbes, Washington Post, Why Car Insurance Keeps Climbing and Where Premiums Are Highest, Oct. 2025. The Washington Post, StatCan, Impacts of Rising Costs and Claims on Personal Automobile Insurance in Canada, 2025.